Story title: Poor mechanic was hired to seduce a billionaire's tomboy daughter. What happened next shocked all. Before Lagos woke, before the yellow buses coughed black smoke onto the bridge, before dawn broke across the lagoon, Daniel was already on the move. The streets smelled of petrol and fried akara. His shirt clung to him with grease and sweat, his hands rough from fixing engines that never belonged to him. He was a mechanic, invisible to most of the city, surviving one repair at a time. Across town, in Ikoi's glass mansion, Mr. Lawson sat by the window, staring at his only daughter. Amara, strong, stubborn, living in boots and jeans, riding motorbikes, rejecting every suitor he brought home. She laughed at wealth, hated parties, and told her father that money was a prison. Lawson's heart grew heavy. He feared his daughter would grow old alone, unprotected. So he made a decision, dark, selfish, and quiet. He would hire love. Daniel didn't see it coming. One evening, a man in a black car pulled up at the workshop. The driver handed him an envelope. Inside, cash, more than Daniel had ever held, and instructions. Make Amara fall. Play the gentleman. Pretend, if he must. Daniel's stomach tightened. His mother's voice echoed in his head. Never sell your soul, Daniel. Money fades, but your name follows you. Yet hunger had been his companion too long. He told himself it was just a job, just survival. He said yes. The first meeting was nothing like he expected. It was in a small cafe near Yaba. The bulb above flickered, the fan whirred lazily. Amara leaned back in her chair, helmet on the table, hair tied carelessly. She noticed him before he could pretend. You fixing that stair, or just another engine, she teased. For the first time in his life, Daniel felt seen, not as a poor boy, not as a mechanic, but as a man. Days turned into walks near the bridge, meat pies shared at dusk, laughter over broken bikes. She admired his calloused hands. He admired her courage to defy wealth. In her company, the envelope in his drawer felt heavier, uglier. His mother noticed the glow in his eyes, but shook her head in warning. Be careful, my child. Gold that shines too bright can burn your hand. But joy blinds faster than fire. At an art fair on Victoria Island, they laughed like children. She painted a line on his palm, calling him her destiny. That night, everything collapsed. Amara overheard her father's voice on the phone. I paid that boy well. At least now, she'll know what love feels like. The words cut deeper than glass. Amara's hands trembled as she confronted Daniel under the streetlight. Tell me it's not true. He wanted to speak, to confess, but silence trapped him. His face answered what his lips could not. Her tears streamed, and she walked away, her shadow dissolving into the night. Daniel sank. Shame drowned him. He returned to Ajagunal, working engines in silence, avoiding his mother's eyes. But Mary would not let him rot. She pressed her hand on his shoulder. A lie can break trust, but truth, even late, can build again. If you stand like a man. So Daniel stood. He gathered proof. Signed checks, a driver's testimony, recordings. Not for revenge, but so Amara would know her worth. He planned quietly, every step heavy but clear. The moment came in Lawson's own boardroom, filled with men in suits. Lawson spoke proudly of his empire when Daniel walked in, plain shirt, oil still under his nails, but eyes steady. He laid the files on the table. Sir, I was wrong to accept, but she deserves to know she was never the game. Only the prize of her fear. The room froze. Lawson's color drained. At the door, Amara stood, hearing every word. The empire he built shook, not from rivals, but from the gaze of his daughter, her eyes burning with betrayal. That night, Lawson sat alone in his mansion. Chandeliers glowed, but the air was empty. Wealth surrounded him, but his heart was poorer than the boy he had tried to buy. Meanwhile, Amara walked the crowded Yaba streets with Daniel. No cars, no guards, just roasted plantain shared between them, silence soft but honest. She looked at him, scarred, imperfect, yet brave enough to tell the truth. Sometimes love isn't about never falling, it's about the courage to rise after the fall. Weeks later, under the mango tree in Ajagunal, Daniel introduced Amara to his mother. Mary's smile was tired but proud. She pressed water into Amara's hand, whispering a blessing. Amara removed her gold necklace, placing it on Mary's wooden shelf, leaving behind the weight of wealth for the freedom of truth. And Daniel, the boy who once whispered dreams into the sand, now stood taller. Not because he won the billionaire's daughter, but because he learned that dignity is the richest inheritance. In the heart of Lagos, engines still roared, buses still coughed smoke, and life moved on. But somewhere in Ajagunal, two souls rebuilt love from ashes, slowly, quietly, truthfully.